OTB2 capital G here. So this is what I have been waiting on. We finally got some cards from Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrain Season 2, the brand new booster set Soul Fusion, which I had actually been wondering for over a month now what the meaning of the set name Soul Fusion was. I was wondering if this meant that this set was going to be fusion based. Maybe we'd see like a brand new fusion archetype revealed in the set and that was going to be the focus, or I thought it was a potential for maybe the set to focus around the brand new character in Vrain Season 2 whose name is Soul Burner. I thought, okay, maybe his archetype will be in here. Maybe that'll be a focus. Maybe the archetype will be like something really amazing or something like that. Turns out so far it's kind of been a combination of the two, which I guess is maybe that explains the name Soul Fusion perfectly. It's fusion based and it's about Soul Burner, the character in the anime. But in this video, we're going to talk about Yasaku's new cards, including the first ever Cyberse fusion monster, which is really interesting. My man Yasaku has now mastered what, 3 different mechanics? So one more and he'll catch what's his name, Reggie from Yu-Gi-Oh! RP. When he played DDDs, he was just, that guy knew every single mechanic like inside and out. But let's go ahead and break down Yasaku's 4 new cards, and then we'll talk about Soul Burner's cards tomorrow. The first card is Clock Wyvern, and since it's a Yasaku card, you can pretty much assume every monster ever that is revealed by this guy or played by this guy is going to be Cyberse. That's all he freaking plays. This is a Cyberse level 4 wind monster, 1800 attack and 1000 defense. So far, his stat line is excellent for a level 4 monster. It's a hard once per turn effect, and it says, if this card is normal or special summoned, you can half this card's attack, and if you do summon or special summon 1 clock token, which is Cyberse win level 1, 0 attack, 0 defense, that is just really good. I mean, I think everybody at this point knows how broken cards that produce tokens are, and if you have a monster that just normal summons itself and instantly gives you essentially like a Link Karibo, like I'll take that all day and night. That is so good. The fact that it can just summon itself and then go into a Link Spider, yeah, you lose a little bit of attack, but if you're going to use the token for Link summoning, and then you're going to use your Clock Wyvern for Link summoning, I mean, you can basically say that this is a normal summon Link too, which is actually kind of ridiculous. So yeah, this card so far is pretty excellent. We have the cover card of this set, which is Cyberse Clock Dragon. So basically it's like the last card got buffed up a little bit. It's a level 7 Dark Cyberse fusion monster, 2500 attack, 2000 defense, because, you know, they got to keep the whole 25, 2000 thing going. Elemental Hero Neos, Utopia, etc, etc. The materials are Clock Wyvern, the card we just discussed, plus 1 Link monster, which, I mean, that is actually just ridiculously easy. We just talked about how if you normal or special summon Clock Wyvern, you can take that token and convert it into a Link Spider or a Link Karibo. So just by summoning Clock Wyvern, you've already met the conditions basically to summon your Cyberse Clock Dragon. That is actually stupidly easy to get on board. This guy has 3 different effects. The first one is when this card is fusion summoned, you can send cards from the top of your deck to the graveyard equal to the combined Link rating of this card's materials. Until the end of the next turn, other monsters you control cannot attack, and this card gains 1000 attack times the number of cards sent to the graveyard. So this can be a card that does a ton of damage if you have a Link monster that has a really high Link rating and you use that. Like, let's just say, I wouldn't do this, but you know, I'm gonna give you guys an example. If you use something like Firewall Dragon, that means that you'd be able to mill 4 cards to your graveyard and your guy would gain 4000 attack, which obviously is a lot. But if you use something as small as a Link Karibo, then you're only gonna gain 1000 attack. Milling cards has always been good in Yu-Gi-Oh! I think that this effect is actually pretty good. I mean, even if you're just getting 1000 attack, a 3500 attack monster is nothing to laugh at. Effect number 2, while you control a Link monster, other monsters you control cannot be targeted by opponent's card effects or for an attack. Damn, this thing definitely puts in work if you have a Link monster on the field. I like that. Not only do you get protection from targeting, but your monsters can't be attacked as well. Pretty nice effect. Effect number 3 is where I think this card definitely brings it home. If this fusion card is sent to the graveyard by an opponent's card effect, you can add 1 spell card from your deck to your hand. I saw that and I had to do a double take. I was like, wait, what? This card basically tutors for any spell card in the game as long as it is in your deck. We've seen that in the past. We've seen some of the really difficult kind of cover cards like High Nirvana Paladin. We've seen them like be able to get cards back from the graveyard, but we've never really seen Konami just say, hey, get any spell card you want from your deck. This card is actually really good, and when we get to sign that fusion, I think that people will understand it's not that difficult to actually summon this. I think that this card is practically like it's a very easy card to get on the board simply because Clock Wyvern gives you that token, and the token converts into a link monster pretty easily. I'm gonna go ahead and skip straight to Sign That Fusion. Let's go ahead and keep that theme going. Then I'll talk about the last link monster. Sign That Fusion is a normal spell card. It says fusion summon one Cyberse fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters you control or have in your hand as fusion materials. If you do not control a monster in the extra monster zone, you can also banish one Cyberse link monster from your graveyard as a material. You kind of expected in 2018 that Konami would give you some type of bonus effect in a fusion spell. They do it in almost all the fusion spells they've been doing that really since Duelist Alliance and Shadow Fusion that let you just summon, using materials from your deck. And this one seems pretty good. As long as you don't have like a link monster out or an extra deck monster, then you basically get to use your graveyard as a resource. So I think that this card is fine, and I actually think that it is incredibly fair. It doesn't have anything ridiculously over the top like Shadow Fusion, and it's not actually a hard once per turn because of that. A lot of these new fusion spells like Red Eyes Fusion, Shadow Fusion, a lot of the ones from Arc V, they're hard once per turns because they kind of let you use resources from all over the place. This one just kind of gives you the benefit of being able to banish from your graveyard, but it has to be a Cyberse link monster on top of that. Now again, because Clock Wyvern gives you that token, I actually think that it's incredibly easy to meet the condition of summoning your Cyberse Clock Magician, or excuse me, Cyberse Clock Dragon, which is the only monster you can actually summon right now because it's the only Cyberse fusion monster in the game. I do think that Konami is going to clearly make more Cyberse fusion monsters in the future, but so far I definitely like this card, and yeah, I would probably run it because I think that the new fusion monster is pretty good. And then finally, the link monster. This is Clock Spartai, which is what exactly is a Spartai? Maybe that's just the name. It's not like some type of entity or something like that. This is a link to Dark Cyberse. It's 800 attack, which is a little low for a link 2. It's bottom right and bottom, and it requires 2 Cyberse monsters, which means that I guess Clock Wyvern can go straight into it, considering you're gonna have a token and you're gonna have itself, so you could just summon right into it. It says the first and the second effects are both hard once per turns. If this card is link summoned, you can add one Sign That Fusion from your deck to your hand. All right, that's pretty good. There you go. That makes an easy way to get this card on the field. All you have to do is just summon Clock Dragon and go right into it, and boom, you can just add your copy of Sign That Fusion straight from your deck to your hand. It says the second effect is if a monster or monsters is special summoned to a zone this card points to, you can target one level 4 or lower Cyberse monster in your graveyard, special summon it, but its effects are negated. Also, you can not special summon monsters from your extra deck for the rest of the turn except fusion monsters. All right, so basically it's gonna it locks you into just going into the big dragon, which I think that's actually okay. I mean, as a searcher for getting Sign That Fusion, I think this card's pretty good because you have a monster that can go straight into it, and Clock Wyvern just off of a normal summon on field, I think that it's kind of average. I mean, being able to get a monster back from the graveyard is cool, but you are going to be locked into just going into this dragon at that point. I mean, maybe you can summon some other fusion monsters. I guess you don't have to use Sign That Fusion as your fusion summon, but that is kind of a downside. Like if you're going for Sign That Fusion and you're going to go for that play, obviously it's pretty cool. But I'm actually surprised these cards they're progressively getting better. And again, we're still technically in, well, I guess we're about to enter, like, this is the second year of the Vrains era, but these Cyberse cards, in my opinion, are actually getting better. And I think that this boss monster, this cover card, this Cyberse Clock Dragon, I actually think that it's pretty good. So you guys let me know what you think in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching. As always, subscribe if you have not already, and turn on that notification bell for daily videos. And actually, one more thing, because I can't help but keep thinking about Clock Wyvern and how ridiculously good this card is. The fact that it instantly gives you that level 1 token, and actually, even if you cut the Clock Wyvern's attack in half, if you go into a Link Spider, you end up with 1900 damage instead of the actual 1800 you get without the effect. So you end up getting a little more damage than if you just summon this. And man, I'm looking at this card and I'm comparing it to things like Mecha Phantom Beasto Lion, and obviously like Blackwing Steam the Cloak, which is limited in the OCG. and these token producing cards. And this is actually one that doesn't have to sacrifice itself because it doesn't activate when it's gone to the graveyard. This is a card that just gives you a token instantly while it's still on the field without really losing any card advantage. It's like, bruh, the last time we got a card like that, I think that it was called Gofu, and it's currently banned right now. Obviously, Gofu gave you 2 tokens. This card only gives you 1, so it's not nearly as broken as Gofu, but I could see this card being splashed into a multitude of decks. Like, I could play this in my Relinquish deck, where getting a level 1 token on field means I go for Link Kariba, which my deck naturally does anyways, or that level 1 token can be used for summoning like a Relinquish if I don't have any fodder in my hand. Just such an excellent card, and I kind of feel like this card is going to be exploited in so many different decks. Think about something like Metaphors, where you'd be able to normal summon or pendulum summon this and then blow the token up with like a pendulum scale. There's so many potential opportunities for this card. I wouldn't be actually that shocked if this card, if it ended up on the limited list at some point.